Donald Trump's long-running feud with Rosie O'Donnell is back in the spotlight. This time, she's revealing why she says she left the United States and moved to Ireland. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Let's watch the interview and I'll share my thoughts at the end.
Morning to you both. Lovely to have you.
Lovely to see you. We're delighted that you're here and joining us. And we have to ask you, how are you finding Ireland? You're only here since January.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's amazing. It's better than I could have imagined, and I never imagined leaving the United States. I didn't even have an Irish passport, although my siblings do, because I thought, well, I'm never moving out of the United States. I'm kind of like a stay-home mom kind of person. And but then when the election happened, and you know, it was quite obvious what was going to occur as they put out a book that announced it, Project 2025, I knew that it was time for me and my young autistic child to come here.
And let's talk about that a little bit for people who might not know, because the beef between you and Donald Trump go back to the days of when you were a talk show host comedian. He was a personality.
A reality show. He had The Apprentice, which was all fiction.
Yes.
And a lot of people in America didn't know that it was fiction because they sold him as America's biggest successful businessman, and he had been bankrupt 6 times. And he had lots of charges of sexual abuse against him. And he is, you know, known for lying and for corruption. And he had a charity that he and his family now can never do a charity again in New York because they stole money from children who had cancer.
And this is all fact.
All you need to find out these facts is a computer, people. I am not an investigative journalist. I simply lived there my whole life. And in New York, where he grew up as well, we're around the same age. I'm 63, he's 107. Is that what he is? I'm not sure. But, and so I've known who he was from the get-go.
But a lot of male chat show hosts were saying the same things that you were.
Yes.
But it was just you. You just got under his skin.
And he went crazy in a way that I was shocked. And it's almost 20 years since that show.
And he's still, to this very day.
To this day, at the debate, they said to him, you call women pigs, gross, disgusting, fat, ugly. And he said, no, only Rosie O'Donnell. To roarious applause and laughter in the audience. And I was at home with my kids watching it going, how do you explain this? You know, luckily it was they were pretty young at the time, but now my youngest is 12. My other ones are in their 20s.
Yeah.
So it's really to protect my 12-year-old that I knew I had to come.
Because let's talk about that. A lot of people said they would leave should Trump become president and all this kind of stuff. You did leave for reasons of safety. What was happening to you in the streets?
Well, it wasn't so much in the streets, but after he won, I was in CVS with my child, and 2 different people, one with a MAGA hat and one a Trump supporter, came over and told me with curse words that their guy won. And, you know, said the F word in front of my child, who said, why are people cursing at us? And I said, well, remember I told you that there was a guy who's not so nice and he's running for president again? Remember when you were a little baby and he was the president and everything went wrong? She said, yes. I said, well, he's back now. And she said, so it's time for us to go.
And that's what, because you did stay during his first presidency.
I did, and it was a difficult time for me, mentally and emotionally.
Because this has obviously taken a toll on you over these years.
You know, it's something to go from being a kind of known celebrity in America that people liked, that won a lot of, that had a lot of accolades, that had a lot of, to despised by half the population. Half the country thinks that he is the new coming of Christ, and half the country sees what's happening, that fascism has taken hold in America, and it's terrifying, not just for America, but for the world.
And you arrived over going, you know what, I'm going to move to Ireland. Sure, it'll be grand. I'll sit down, eat some potatoes, have some whatever.
Keogh's crisps are out there.
Put to work straight away by this young man here.
After watching this interview, one thing is clear. Rosie O'Donnell's comments have once again reignited the long-running debate surrounding Donald Trump's public attacks against her over the years. Her mention of Project 2025 also became a major talking point, with supporters and critics debating how much attention it has received in mainstream discussions. The history between Trump and Rosie O'Donnell goes back years, with Trump repeatedly making harsh personal remarks about her appearance, personality, and career. Critics argue that this pattern represents a broader issue of personal attacks in politics, while Trump's supporters often view his style as part of his willingness to fight back against opponents. Regardless of where people stand politically, this feud has become one of the most recognizable examples of how personal conflicts can shape public political conversations. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Rosie O'Donnell made a strong point, or do you think this was another example of political figures focusing too much on personal battles? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story.